This week on Media Delta, Digimon the movie. With 3 movies in one, where can you go wrong? Hello and welcome to another episode of Media Delta. Today we are taking a look at something that we're taking a look at a Digimon property today. Going right into Digimon, like outside of say the games, is kind of there's a lot of Digimon stuff. So kind of did something that's at least a little bit easier to approach, and that is I probably should have the thing up, but we're taking a look at Digimon the movie today. At least that is, which in itself is actually a combination of 3 different little tiny movies that came out in Japan, that were kind of cut up and put into one thing, for I would say a Western audience, but I have a feeling that this is mostly a US audience. This was a 4 Kids joint, I believe.
It was
Uh,
indeed a 4 Kids release.
yeah, so
Also, it's important to say these were cut up to hell and back.
Cut
yeah,
up to hell and back.
yeah, because each one of these would have been what 50 minutes long on their
40,
own.
50.
Yeah, 50. That's about a normal V cinema.
Yeah, so in this total, I think what an hour and a half.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, significant cuts.
Particularly the last one.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
may or may not have been cut up incredibly just
Mhm.
abruptly.
Huh, I'm looking it up now, because our war game's the only one that has a separate Wikipedia article, and our war game was just a flat 40 minutes.
Huh.
Which makes sense, because our war game was the one that was the least cut.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. As you could hear, I was not the only one who watched this. So before we continue on, please introduce yourselves in alphabetical order.
Hi, I'm Carnival, and I will always say this, Digimon is better than Pokemon. In regards to anime.
All right.
Hi, I'm Risen, and I'm only here because of people saying that our war game inspired Summer Wars.
Yeah. We'll probably get into that a little bit later on. But yeah.
I'm Torpid Typist, and I'm a kid in America.
Yes, indeed.
And I did find the length for the golden Digimentals. That's a total of 65 minutes long.
So
Christ.
So yeah, and that part probably took about what 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they
Yeah.
probably cut a raw half of that movie.
And the first part of it, which is just called Digimon Adventure, like this first season, is 20 minutes. So, woof. So that one probably also got in completely uncut. So basically, all the cuts really just happened to golden Digimentals, really.
Yeah. So yeah, just to kind of clarify. So what exactly are the 3? It's so what Digimon Adventure was the first one, then
Digimon Adventure, our war game, and Digimon Adventure 02, Digimon Hurricane Touchdown / Transcendent Evolution / the Golden Digimentals.
right. So I'll fully admit I am not super familiar with Digimon as franchise. I remember watching the first season of the show that came out over here, which I will say a lot of this is based on it. Not all of it, but there is a lot of it that is based off of those that are because of what it's Digimon. It's not Digimon Tamers. That's something completely different, right?
Tamers is the 3rd series. This one is Digimon Adventures 1 and Digimon Adventure 2, which basically those first 2 ones are in the same continuity, so yeah. But it's mainly just by sheer volume favors Adventure 1.
Okay. Yeah, because I think I always say this because I don't. It's just when I think of like the show Digimon, I usually think of like the stuff that the first 2 parts of this movie are based on. Like you have, I already forgot the names, which is already a good sign. But yeah, actually, before we kind of
Kyrie, Sora, Izzy, PK.
TK, Matt, and I always Ty.
Hi. Yeah.
I forgot what the
Also
kind of
Mimi,
main character. Oh, and Mimi. Yes.
who
Who always
barely
gets
exists.
forgotten.
Yeah. She exists so that you have one shot of a thing in Hawaii. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
As the entirety of the movie.
To be fair, most of them don't get any screen time, but regardless.
Yeah. So yeah, before we kind of go into more in depth, I think we should probably just get our general impressions question out of the way. So Carnival, what's your general impressions of Digimon the movie?
So I saw this movie back when it released, back in God, what 2000?
Yes, 2000.
So this is the first time I've seen this since then, and it's like this honestly held up to me very well, considerably. I had a lot of fun watching it again.
All right.
Oh, right.
Anything that you particularly that stood out to you?
The licensed soundtrack, in terms of just how much it was just, this is a choice. It makes things incredibly funny, but this was a choice.
The weird thing is only half of those songs were licensed. A lot of them were done in-house.
Yeah.
True. Which also the in-house songs are also a lot better than I was expecting. Like it all around felt, this was better than I thought.
Yeah, because so just for if you're not familiar with this, this is a very much of its time movie in terms of soundtrack. You got I don't know if the song is called Funk Soul Brother, but it's the one that's that one line that just repeats over and over again. Oh, it is just Funk Soul Brother. Okay, by Fatboy Slim. You have everyone's favorite all-star.
They're Metalheads by Less Than Jake.
Uh-huh.
1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies.
Right.
Also, Lolo, it's not the Funk Soul Brother, it's the Rockefeller Skank.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whoops.
But that's what a lot of people know it for, is that
one line that just repeats over and over again. I knew it had a different song. I just forgot what it was. And when
The music video for it's really fucking good, though.
Yeah, I remember that song because just to point out the time when that song was popular. I remember putting that on one of my first MP3 players, which used a 128 megabyte compact flash card to store music on.
Oh, Mr. Fancy.
And had that in I don't know, just other songs of that ilk. All Star might have been one of them.
It was one of those songs that everyone fucking knew.
Like 1 week. Also.
Also on the soundtrack. Literally here within the first few minutes of our war game.
Yeah. It just punches right into that. Just like you have a scene and then it just does not it just goes right hard cut to that song. Which was fun. Anything else you want to comment about that?
Not that I can think of.
All right, Risen.
I've never seen this movie until now. I was not a Digimon kid. And my first exposure to Digimon in any sort of true capacity was a ill-fated attempt at Cyber Sleuth. Didn't get far. And I was enjoying it for the first 2 bits, and then the very hard cut to the Gold Mantle stuff, the change of art style, the horrible amount of editing necessary to get that to fit in there just kind of threw me out of it.
It's important to know that these 3 had 3 different directors, and it shows.
Yep.
I'm sure the Gold Mantle stuff would be fine if you were to watch its entirety, but when you got half of it cut out, it feels rushed and bad.
Okay, but this version had Kokomon dancing to All Star, and that's what matters.
It did, yeah. With
God.
saying that that he was out of tune.
Tone deaf, yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And to reiterate, my favorite part was in our war game where Izzy is like talking to Ty about how he pissed off Sora, and then Smash cuts into 1 week by the Bare Naked Ladies.
Yes. Anything in particular stood out?
I could definitely see where Summer Wars got a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with Summer Wars, that is actually a very good movie that I don't know. I think I could um bullshit my way into
I mean, we
having a
could
media
use it
delta.
as a launching point off of this movie.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
could do that. Which it's a very interesting movie about. That's by I think the same director as Argo War
It is
Game.
the
Yes,
same director.
same
It is
director.
the same director because he can only do one thing apparently.
Which is basically the concept of our war game, which is a virus kind of goes berserk and starts taking over a lot of connected systems, and our protagonist having to go in digital form or some way in digital form and stop it. Our Summer Wars is basically an incredible expansion on that topic, and is
Family. It's about family.
it is
Yeah.
about family. It's about a very large family, a very large and relatable to me family.
A very large family that comes from a very
Old
notable
money.
background. They have no money, though, is the thing.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
just
that's what happens to all old money families, though, is that they get too big and thus the money gets split out. So
Also, because the grandfather sold off. You know what? We'll worry about that whenever.
Yep. But basically, the idea is it is an incredibly similar movie to this. Although I would also say it probably did it better. But also, that is a full-length movie compared to whatever this was.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
And also not tied to a license. So
Yes.
Yeah. Did we even see the full 40 minutes, or how much? Like, did it
No,
get?
it was
We saw
basically
the
the full
full-
movie.
that was the full movie. All War
Okay.
Game and the Digimon Adventure, because the other one is 20 minutes. Because, basically, Golden Digimentals got cut down to, because if War Game is like, oh my god, that was only 28 minutes of Golden Digimentals we got.
Yeah. So that was essentially the full thing, and it still felt like there was some stuff missing. But I imagine that's probably the effect
It's
of the how
Very
those
rapid
things-
pacing.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Digimon Adventure one was pretty.
Yeah, it wasn't good, but that one was, again, also only 20 minutes. So
Hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, you can definitely see Summer Wars on that. Unless it's Sakura Wars, that's a completely different thing. So, you good on that?
Yeah.
All right, Torbo.
Oh boy. See, I still have fun with this. It's really stupid. The last one, fucking incomprehensible beyond belief. You cut out 35 minutes of a goddamn movie. Of course, it's not going to make any sense, but God, it's a nightmare. But otherwise, I actually think it's really fun. Our war game is really goofy and enjoyable. I feel we're mentioning also something about Summer Wars is that for the internet bits, they use a red outline for the characters, and they do that exact same thing in our war game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the director of our war game just basically says, "I'm going to do the same movie again without the
He
license."
can only do one thing. But just in general, I found it enjoyable. The licensed music, while ridiculous, was I still felt fit pretty well. Though there is one notable bit of licensed music swap out that is during the Omnimon Digivolution. Because in the original version, the song they had was a lot more ominous and imposing.
Like this divine transcendent moment.
And then
Instead
this
of-
is fucking like surfer rock. It's great.
I have to admit, I like the American
It's like an
version better.
in-house. It's an in-house song called like "Kick It Up" or something, I think.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Um,
But
I do want to interject here because I did look it up just to clarify the thing for the director of Our War Game and Summer Wars. Just to point out something. He also directed The Girl Who Leapt Through Time and Wolf Children. So
Jesus Christ!
So those
Yes,
are
it
two
directed-
also very different movies. So yes, apparently
Yeah.
he can actually do. Also, he was the director of the opening for Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, that makes
Nice.
sense.
Oh.
I will say,
Yeah.
well, children, very good. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there.
yeah, no. The guy actually can do more, but it's just funny because Summer Wars is a wholesale ripoff of our war game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think it's fun and enjoyable. Animation for some parts better than others, obviously. And I do want to point out the first one, Digimon Adventure, is funny. Because it's this giant fight between two Digimon in the middle of the city that just happens apropos of nothing. And it's great because they're like, ah, yes, and those of us who saw the fight, all 7 of us, became the Digi-Destined. Even though it was this giant fucking slugfest in the middle of a city.
This thing that like took
Yeah.
out buildings.
To be
Yes.
fair, like by the end of that continuity, they established that basically everyone in the world gets Digimon. So they're not wrong in the most technical sense.
Yeah, it's just it's amusing that that is the reasoning behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the first one, Digimon Adventure, is they're 2 Digi-Egg. Well, according to the 4Kids continuity, there are 2 Digi-Eggs that appear on either side of the fucking planet, one in Japan and one in America. The America one gets covered in the 3rd bit, but
Mm-hmm.
first one is they get the Digimon, they raise it, becomes a giant Agumon. Then another Digimon appears. I think it's Paramon.
Yeah, I think it's
Starts
Paramount.
fucking up the city. Giant Agumon starts fucking up everything as well. Digivolves, fucks up more shit. They fight. Everything goes to hell. 7 kids witness it, and then they fuck off.
Yep.
It's very straightforward.
Uh-huh.
Whereas our war game is essentially Digimon got infected with the virus. It's fucking up the internet. We gotta murder it. We murder it. It's also very straightforward. And then the third one is fucking impossible to parse because it's cut in half.
Yeah.
It's just a
Like
fucking
when we
mess.
get to it, I could probably go and read a given from the descriptions of if we want to go over like what the plot was supposed to be, but we can do that later.
Also, I really want to mention real quick that the version we watched was deeply cursed.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I found a copy that was essentially the person took the Japanese Blu-ray release, cut it to bits, and stitched it together to be frame by frame in sync with the English version. And then they just
Mhm.
spliced in the English audio.
That just dedication to the craft is admirable, even though the output is probably could have used the time better, but I still at least appreciate the craft.
But yeah, no. So that's also Carnival. I'm gonna let you in a secret. None of these questions really cover the 3 parts.
I mean, we can probably cover
We can get
that.
off script.
Yeah,
Either way, though, yeah, that's most of what I have to say about the movie.
we could probably cover that at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So my impression of this movie is I had not seen it until we just watched it. The thing about it is that I actually was when I was a kid and this was coming out, and like I think this was actually around the time that I was actually watching Digimon. I was hesitant to watch. I didn't want to watch the movie because remember this was on 4x3 TVs. Like the thing was is that in the trailers they cut, they letterboxed it to try and get the aspect ratio of like the theater, so it looked super squished, which actually made me not want to watch the movie because I always associate this with like, man, I don't want to watch this. It looks super squished. It's going to look really weird. Which also the animation this is also kind of weird, but
Mm-hmm.
very bold lines that are very like it's weird in its term. And like if you're used to like the TV show, like there is a thickness to the line art that just kind of looks a little different. Not bad, just different.
To be fair, it depends on the part too, because like the first
Oh,
part's
right.
animation's like a lot more fluid
Yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
the second part, which is a bit more standard, and the third part was just very normal.
the third part looks more quote unquote normal, but the second part, which they showed most of it because I think was the season that was going on at the moment.
Yes.
Uh,
When this would have released, O2 would have been well underway.
yeah, so it was like that was the thing I associated with. So it's like, okay, this just looks really weird. But nonetheless, I mean, I didn't have a bad time with it. It's just I was like, huh, okay. Because as I said, I'm not a huge I'm not hugely into Digimon, so this was just me watching it like, yeah, that was all right. So yeah, and I guess that's kind of just the thing that I wanted to mention. Um, so yeah, I feel like when we talk about this, um, we have to break it apart into. We have to kind of look at it in two ways because, as we mentioned, that this is taken basically three movies put into one. Uh, so I feel like before we kind of go into and we talk about what that cut thing is. Um, Purple, how do you feel about this as a Digimon medium without any context to the dub or what they had done with it?
I mean, so like even without context of the dub, like the first two are pretty straightforward. It's all very obviously loosely strung together, especially everything involving Willis.
Because I feel like because we should take it as like three separate movies.
Because they are, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
like, as you
this
feel about these three separate movies as their own thing, I guess.
So like as a kid, I was fine with it. Like it seemed fine up until the third part, which even as a kid confused the ever loving shit out of me and felt really weird. Because the third one is so cut to pieces that there's so much like context and missing. Like, oh man, we're gonna fly to Oregon, and now we're just chilling in the middle of this field, the Great Plains of Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was Colorado.
Yeah, that was
Was it Colorado?
Colorado.
Yeah, it was the Great
Yeah,
Plains
it
of
was
Colorado. That
Colorado.
was it. Sorry, the forest fire stuff has been fucking with me. But yeah,
They
no,
were
the
on like the
Great
plains of
Plains of
Colorado,
Colorado. Yeah,
and then like the Grand Canyon, because like the
it,
battle is in like a canyon.
yeah, but it's just such a fucking mess. Like even as a kid who didn't know about the three separate movies thing was still really confused because it's just cut to ribbons. Like obviously they're all loosely strung together, but you can accept that just fine. But it's just things just kind of happen because it's such a mess.
here's the weird thing, because as I read this is the whole Willis being a kid in America, that's all from the original movie. Like everyone, they all head to America to do this. So the whole
No, that I figured. That made
but
sense.
it's
But
so the whole plains of Arizona, or not plains of Arizona, plains of Utah or Colorado. From what I understand, that might have just been them translating that just fine. So it's a foreign country. We're not gonna look up what the actual geography is.
regardless, it's still a mess, even if you ignore the geographical
Yeah.
issues.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, that's how I feel at least in regards to like without context of what the dub did. It's like I just have distinct memories of oh yeah, these two are fine, and then all of a sudden, what the fuck is happening?
The fuck is this? Who are these people?
And I knew who the people were. It's just the fucking sequence of events is so cut up and loosely strung together in the third act that it's just impossible to parse.
Hmm.
Like they try their little hearts out, but it's still a fucking mess.
Yep. Okay. Risen.
On their own, they seem fine and everything. Like, to a degree, my biggest issue with like the third part is that not being familiar with any of the characters really. It was kind of a like, okay, who are these characters and how do I piece together their, relationships with each other? Like I mean I understood that like it was like a couple years later and like so like Kyrie or whatever her name is had grown up a bit and um the only thing that I knew Davis from was that one video that went around a while of them cheering him on, and some other kid is just like, "Great friends you got there, Davis." But No, I mean, like, the first part sets up the whole premise fairly well, in my opinion. Um, I, other than the ludicrous idea that there were only 7 people who watched 2 Digimon fuck around and destroy a good, a chunk of a neighborhood in Tokyo, but I understood what a Digi-destined was fairly quickly because of it.
Yeah.
And the second part, the Our War game, feeds pretty naturally from the first part. So, like, even though it's technically separate in the grand scheme of things, it didn't, feel too disjointed. I would say it's the most shitposty of all of the chunks.
Well, this is
Like,
without context of the dub.
yeah. Oh, without context of that. All right. Yeah, it would just, it flowed pretty well, and then other than like the time where I had to figure out like, okay, who's Davis, who's this, who's that, where are they, what's going on for the third part, I'm sure there's also like a lot of fighting they cut out, so the fight scenes seemed a bit disjointed, but
Yeah, it's important to mention that the third part just kind of ends.
yeah,
Yeah.
it ends
Yeah.
really hard.
Like,
just
and they beat the big virus infected Digimon in like the most anticlimactic way possible in like a fucking instant.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Surprise! We figured out that the secret was to attack him from inside the whole time. And it's all fine.
Yeah, it's just really like I completely forgot how they actually resolved that
They
fight.
just suddenly get the golden eggs, digivolve, and then beat it in one hit.
Yep.
Yeah, I just assumed that the golden eggs thing. I like, I guess that's just something from the show that I just don't remember.
Nope.
Yeah, the golden. Well, Magnamon shows up one episode and then is completely sidelined forever.
Yeah, because they end up getting Paladramon, which is like infinitely better.
No, not even. No, it's not even that late. It's like XVmon is the next episode, literally after the golden armor shows up. That's like that shows up in episode 20, so they're not even like halfway through with the series. Major upgrade is like, nope, we're done here. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So yeah, it just feels a little weird.
Yeah. I think that's all that I need to say, though. So.
All right. Carnival.
Yeah, in terms of larger Digimon story, just in context of the film, just larger franchise, our war game is the standout piece here. But it's still a bit unfair to the Hurricane Landing just because it got cut up unfairly.
Mm-hmm.
But Digimon Adventure, the first section is just. It was a short film thing that seems like it was more done as a promotional piece to like hype people up more than a like full length thing. It feels like,
Yeah.
but without regards to the dub itself, it just feels like, yeah, this was nice. It's there. I guess it kind of suffers from the whole thing of just like the best parts of the Digimon like anime was the very next season, and that's the one I most remember out of them. So it's just like it's a part of it, and there it is.
Okay. Yeah. So, is that your take on that?
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't have the familiarity with Digimon, but I felt like those three, like, just as a basic thing, like those three, like the first thing is, yeah, you could tell that that's like this is kind of a little intro thing just to kind of show off like what the show is all, or like what the concept of this Digimon movie and like just the animated medium is as a whole is about. It doesn't go into real big details, and it's not a hugely complex story. It's very simple, but it gets the point across. So it's kind of basic, but I'm like it serves what it needs to do. And
Mm-hmm.
our war game, it was I like the idea of it. With context to watching literally anything else, I would obviously watch Summer Wars over it, but it still wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing is like it was just like, granted, this is also because it was super heavily cut, but it's like it seemed like kind of another thing where I was like, okay, this is just a lot of these. Like, I feel like it has the same. Like, I know not everything with Digimon needs to be compared to Pokemon, but it feels like it had like that feeling that a lot of Pokemon movies had, where it's like, oh, you have this one special Pokemon who is, well, I guess Digimon in this case, but we have this one special Digimon that's doing something, and then a bunch of stuff happens, and at the end they figure out, oh, so there's some like special sentimental cure to stop whatever this Digimon is, and
I will
it's
have
all
you know
magic
they
friendly.
murdered the fuck out of Diaboromon.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. That is true.
They murked
Stabbed
the
him in the
shit
head.
out of him.
Yeah, that is right.
Also, they didn't befriend Parrotmon. Parrotmon just got fucked up by Greymon.
Yeah.
As I say,
Paramount
Nah,
died.
if you're causing trouble, you're gonna die.
yeah,
I mean,
Digimon is
both
not
of them were
above
causing
murdering the
trouble.
shit out of people.
that is true. I don't think any amount of Digimon tears are going to bring back either of those two.
I mean, yeah, the only one that ends happy is the last one, but otherwise, no, they just fucking murder them.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's my feeling on just the general story of those Digimon stories. Now, let's talk about this in context with the dub, because this, as we mentioned, this is a 4Kids dub, which means that things happen with that. So Torpo, how do you feel about Digimon the movie with context of it being a 4Kids dub?
Wouldn't it be
Well,
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Whoops. Okay. Whoops. I got the order around. Carnival. How do you feel about it being a 4Kids dub?
I have to admit, this is probably one of the better 4Kids dubs out there. Like, we've talked about the soundtrack, but it's like, I'm gonna actually admit, I like the Omnimon fight music in the dub better than, like, the, like, transcendence thing of just, like, no, let's just, it's the end of the movie, let's just go all in on this high action. And so, I honestly think, in terms of 4Kids, this is pretty good, which, again, that's a low bar given 4Kids, but hey,
Hmm.
I'll take what I can get.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Risen.
Everything Ty's mother says during the second portion of the movie is fucking gold. Like, it is comedy. Like, it's so, like, she delivers it, the actress delivers it so well. And the lines are so, like, off the wall that it was just perfect comedy to me.
Yeah, she's even on record saying she loved doing that bit. It was great.
Yeah, just like, my favorite has got to be, hey mom, does this look like we have a lot of flour? It's like, I don't know, I've never made a cake with flour before.
Yeah, because they like have her be some sort of health food nut, which
Not
I'm
even
pretty
health food. She just doesn't make food like people.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Like her
What, a
beef
jerky
jerky
shake?
shakes. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure wasn't that an exact thing from Invader Zim? Or was that just
wouldn't be
beef
I don't
shake?
know. I
Um.
believe it.
Anyway, yeah, it's just a lot of weird food.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not just her. You know, another good line is when the Diaboromon starts attacking the phone lines and everything. The like the news presenter, you know, reading a statement from the telephone company. So if your telephone's out, call your phone company.
Yeah.
No hint of irony.
Yeah, and literally it becomes a game of telephone where they have to leave a message and then they have to call again to pick up a message. Because they can't do
Mhm.
direct calls.
Yeah.
It's really stupid. Also, the mom
Oh.
going, well, now my sister won't call me today, or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now my sister can't call me 3 times a day.
Something like that, yeah.
The mom
No.
is pure gold.
Yeah.
Um
On my piece.
all right. Torpo.
I mean, they've said most of my feelings on the dub. I mean, it tries. There's a lot of goofiness, but that's kind of just 4Kids being 4Kids. There's a lot of really weird jokes all over the place. In overall, it was pretty fun. It was also surprisingly coherent for a 4Kids dub.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like it worked. It worked just fine. I mean, there's some name stuff and all that, and also they tried their little hearts out to string these together. They tried so
They
hard.
tried really hard.
This kid Davis who's going to fucking University of Colorado or some shit. He's like
And
5
he's
years
only in
old.
kindergarten.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you tried. You fucking tried. He made the virus that created Diaboromon after fusing Digihegg. It's like, oh, you tried. You tried.
Yeah.
Including like, Digihegg appeared on the other side of the world. Like, oh, sure.
Yeah.
Like it was messy and kind of sloppy, but there was only so much they
Mhm.
could do to salvage that and make those connections.
Yeah.
And it gave us the joy of Kokomon singing along to All Star, and that's what
Yeah.
matters.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
And technically speaking, it's Wendigomon, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's just yeah. So, I thought it was like, like, yeah, this does actually like it weirdly makes it a lot more enjoyable because it's just really weird. It's like, oh, I wonder how they're gonna handle this like now. Like from a terms of like, I do feel like the dub actually made it a little bit more enjoyable to watch from someone who is not super into the show or the franchise. So it's like, oh,
Yeah, it's definitely less straight faced than it would normally be, and I can understand that making it more fun.
yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed the 4Kids dub. I do feel like it was plenty charming. Yeah. So I guess before we kind of go and actually rank this, Carnival, you want to bring up what the plot details were, the differences?
Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna read a bit from the Wikipedia page. So basically, TK and Kyrie were going to visit Mimi in New York, but Wendigomon captures basically all the old kids, and then that's how we end up learning the entire thing, because it looks like we just missed the entire bit of like the reason no one else is involved is just Wendigomon just captures everybody else. And then it really seems like the only reason that it, like reading this more, it's like it probably basically caught the entire spirit of the thing. It's just that what we maybe missed was a lot of just like kind of like context more than anything else, because like it follows the plot from it just kind of down pat. It's just it's just that we got
Alien is lost.
yeah.
Okay, but what about the evil wind?
They just said it was a random virus. It's just not related to Diaboromon at all. It was just no, Pokemon just got a virus. Pokemon were just surfing the internet and just got a virus.
Oh, I meant, why was there an evil wind?
The
Oh, they
evil wind.
don't say more about that, so I'm sure that's
That
probably,
still makes no fucking sense. Okay.
that probably just doesn't make any sense, or that's something that got cut because it didn't fit with the story they were trying to do.
This doesn't really have anything to do with that. It does have something to do with that third part. That third part has a very strangely detailed Amtrak train, which I very much appreciated. Like they even got the fabric on the chairs down to a fault, which was kind of fascinating. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to mention about that. So any final words before we go to rank?
No.
No.
Watch Summer Wars instead.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe we'll do
about
that.
family.
Maybe
It's about family.
Maybe we'll do that. If for some, well, no, it won't. Hold on, wait.
It's about family and also a grandma wielding a naginata.
Yes. Maybe we'll do that if for some reason Mother's Day falls on a
August 1st of next year, everyone.
Yeah, there.
Mhm.
Well, is that even a Thursday?
I don't fucking know, but it's the release day. August
Oh,
1st.
okay. August 1st, 2021. That is a Sunday.
God, it'd be perfect actually.
Wait, aren't all Mother's Day on a Sunday? I can't remember. I think we should
Yes.
actually just go
They're
ahead and do
normally on
this.
Sundays.
Anyway, we are going to rank this using our normal 1 to 21 scale, with 1 being absolute mastercraft, and 21 being not even fun to watch. Ironically, it is just pretty garbage. So, Carnival, what would you give this in terms of a ranking?
I would probably have to say between the lowest I would go is an 8, but I can see the highest being like 5. Between that range.
Okay. Risen.
Also,
I would say. What was Area 88 again?
That was the plane with the guy with the really swoopy hair.
who could never escape war and lived a tragic existence.
I would put it on like a 9.
So 9.
Yeah.
Also, Carnival, you were saying 5 to 7?
Yeah. 5 I would say 8's the lowest. So yeah.
8 to lowest?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
5 between 5 and 8.
Okay. Torpo.
So first off, I will say I'm gonna go back a little bit. Part 3 making no sense makes sense in hindsight because the second series fucking blew.
Well, it's not the worst.
Deep.
It's Frontier. It's not Frontier, but yes.
I mean, Frontier at least brought us the joy of Lucamon.
Yes, but Digimon Adventure 2 doesn't sideline the majority of the cast for them to only lose.
Actually, kind of does.
Mm-hmm.
For them to only lose for about 30 episodes straight.
I'm just saying, it sidelines most of the cast by the end of it.
Yes, but that's true. But
Because the ones that only matter by the end are Ken and Davis.
Again, the stupid goggles priority. I stand against the goggles priority.
Also, the entire Ken thing is stupid, but not as stupid as Frontier, which is a time loop.
We'll
Frontier is a stable time loop.
Frontier
Finally.
is bad. We'll talk about Frontier another day.
Yes.
Just what if it was a time loop about a person who went back into the past to fuck himself over?
As it happens.
It's all really stupid. Yeah, I'm gonna knock shit over out of anger. But yeah, no. So yeah, season 2 is not good. So the third part not being good, it makes sense. But I would.
I was gonna say. So what's your number?
8.
8.
Yeah, I would watch like The Running Man over this. But like, I think it's a bit better than Area 88 in the Street Fighter movie, live action movie. That is.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I was thinking, because I was thinking somewhere between 7 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
Which, funny enough, is 8.
And which,
Yeah.
funny enough, is 8.
I'll concede to 8. So.
Okay. So basically, Carnival, you were saying 5 to 8. Risen saying 8.
8 or
Torpo
9.
saying 8 or 9. Torpo saying 8. I'm saying 7 or 9. So, 8 would put it kind of roughly at the same level as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles season 1,
Which is fine by me.
Yeah.
because just as a point of comparison, the things that are in 7 are basically American Gladiators, Nick Arcade, The Running Man, Tron, and
Still don't
East
agree
2.
with Tron. I still don't agree with Tron. I was so fucking bored during that movie, but
nonetheless, so the other 4 things there.
Yeah.
That I would honestly, if you gave me a choice between watching those 2, I would probably actually watch The Running Man more times than that. So I do feel that 8 is probably pretty good for this.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll put that there. Also, putting a director for this is going to be, I'm just going to say multiple, because there isn't an isn't a director for this.
Just call it Toei and be done with it.
Okay, so this is episode 45.
It was Toei who owns Digimon, right? No, it's Bandai Namco.
Yep.
That's right.
Well, no, Namco owns like game rights, but Toei I think does animation.
Yeah, I think so. Which Toei always stingy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Tokusatsu.
Yeah, it's Toei Animation. Okay.
Yep. And also, I'm going to say that this is probably just for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for kids, but kids. Also, I mean, it's weird to think about that this is, in fact, this is based on a license. So this definitely is one of those, hey, let's do this so we
To
can
be
market more
fair, I
stuff.
feel like this is complicated, but yeah. The Digimon license is an incredibly complicated one if we're going strictly off of just like license stuff.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that.
Because
Yeah.
it technically started off as a Tamagotchi clone,
Yeah. Which I think they were still selling those around this time.
which
Yes, they still
became a
sold those.
show to market the Tamagotchi thing, and then there were
Yeah.
the games too. It's
They sold-
it's a weird jumbled mess.
I
they
would
still
I
sell
would
those in Japan, so
I would still say that this, if we're going for tone, this probably would be put out to market, if not the toys, then the show.
Fond
Mhm.
memories of my black Digivice as a child.
I think I had a green, like a very dark green one.
Yeah, I had the black one from season 2.
Oh
Had a
no,
blue one.
I had the dark green one that like came out before the show even did.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I know I had one though.
But
but regardless.
yeah. Is there anything we want to call out for music, charm, cinematography, storytelling, action, and art?
I would say music and charm at the very least.
Music and
The
charm,
music was a
absolutely.
bold choice, and we appreciate it.
So here's the thing about those. I feel like I don't want to give those just a raw thumbs up because I feel that's giving the wrong idea.
I'd say charm I'd give a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking of giving it the campy charm. Because
Yeah,
I think the
okay.
music
Fair.
definitely should get the campy charm.
Okay, definitely for the music can't be charm, but like
Mhm.
the charm of it, like yeah, it was charming.
I can give it a thumbs up then.
Art though,
Yeah, the art, I don't like, for the most part, like I know I mentioned that it looks weird, but I don't think it's bad. And I think at most the third part just, I would not call it bad. It's just kind of,
I'd say the third act kind of just dragged everything down in terms of animation quality.
yeah. Because it felt like,
I-
yeah, it just felt
Less fun
like,
music.
it looked like an episode of the show with a slightly larger budget.
Yeah, it's also frustrating too because I would say action yes if it weren't for the third act.
Yeah. Also, our war game didn't have a whole lot of action in it, except
I mean,
for
it had
the
the
very
Digimon
end.
getting fucked up. Yeah,
Yeah.
the action was particularly good in the first one, Digimon Adventure, but otherwise, like our war game was very much a once we solve it, everything dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the third one just fucking ends.
Because there's fights that don't
They
make a whole
get
lot of
beat
sense.
up, they digivolve, and then the enemy just disappears.
And don't forget, they get turned into children, very young children,
Mm-hmm.
for
Oh yeah,
reasons I already forgot.
that was a weird bit.
Yeah.
Because they had to go back in time to defeat the
They-
virus.
It was some weird thing about a separate dimension and blah blah blah.
It's nonsense. As I said, it's fucking incomprehensible.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating because like the first part actually had some really solid action in it.
Uh-huh. Agumon blew up the city really good.
Yeah, just seeing those two
He did.
fucking Digimon go hog on the town was great.
Yeah. Is there anything we want to call out in yay or nay?
I would put scissors for nay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put a katana.
Oh, there's a not great looking scissors, but they're scissors nonetheless. Didn't we just give scissors to something else? No, that might have been a game.
Yeah, it
Nonetheless,
was a game that was like Clock Tower, I think.
it was regardless, there was something that also had that. But yeah, for
I told
this,
you,
I
just
do.
give it a katana.
Is there even a katana emoji?
No, there is not a katana emoji. I fucking wish.
Is there a sword? There is a sword emoji,
Mhm.
but that's not going to make sense. Let's just do scissors. Even though it's the thing about emojis that piss me off in Windows is that there are like, because you do emojis and it gives you like the nice and colorful ones, but then you click on it and then it gives you those word art, like Microsoft Word level things that were there in the late 90s that look like ass.
I will say my favorite part about the scissors one is like all the emojis have a black outline, but it doesn't matter when the entire image is black, so it looks really terrible in this maroon background.
Yeah, it's It's great because also the wrench in the wrench is also look bad that you can see in the Ghost in the Shell.
Mhm.
It's actually it's really annoying actually. That Windows keyboard or emoji keyboard does that. Great that it has an emoji keyboard, but nonetheless, I wish it was slightly better. Anyway, um, I think that is good for Digimon the movie. So, before we leave, Carnival, is there anything you want to plug?
You can follow me at taco_carnival on Twitter, and I guess since I can't really don't have anything really to plug at the moment, you go follow our mutual friend, Bear, on Twitch at twitch.tv/realsovietbear.
All right. Risen.
Nope, nothing to pitch, nothing to endorse.
Okay. Torpo.
Twitch.tv/Tarpatypus and at Tarpatypus on Twitter. And I would like to plug up these buildings that have been absolutely fucking destroyed by these Digimon messing up the town.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, that'll do it for Digimon the movie. Next week we are continuing and finishing off our look at the Pirates of Dark Water. Still need to figure out the episodes that we're going to do with that because it looks like now we have access to just hopping around. So, still got to pick those, but we will be finishing our look at that show and seeing how, once the first season has ended, how the budget differences will take into effect. But that is not until next week. So, with that, thank you all for listening. If you would like to look at the full list of rankings for yourself, please visit r3.ldp.life and go to the Media Delta List tab. If you would like to watch Media Delta's sister show, Retro Rank Rhapsody, you can either watch at youtube.ldp.life or by tuning into twitch.tv/LodaPuzzlo at 7:30 p.m. on Fridays, 2:30 p.m. on Saturdays, and 1 p.m. on Sundays. All those times are from the Eastern U.S. time zone. If you would like to discuss this episode with the community, you can do so by joining our Discord server, which you can do so by going to discord.ldp.life. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you tune in for our next episode.